Hello everyone, and this is Edgan Montiel, and this is going to be the first video for week 2 of the CSWA exercises that we're trying to do to get practice on SolidWorks to ultimately, hopefully by the end of the 2024 spring semester, be able to all have our SolidWorks certifications. So we have to get proficient and good and understand how to use all this stuff. So I already practiced a little bit to make sure I understood how to make these parts. So there's the wrench. And then here is this other part that is on these instructions, and I have both of them pulled up here. So one is we need to make sure to pay attention to the instructions. So this one's schematic. It's actually pretty easy. It's only asking one question. It wants the weight in grams. We're using mmgs for the units. This one is different, and we need to make sure we do it in IPS. It's already messed up at least twice because I didn't do it in the correct units. So we're going to be making these two parts for this video. Where'd the first one go? I already lost it. There it is. So we'll start with this little simpler one. And I think it gives you a clue. This part can be built using only 2 features. So as you can see over here, I was able to use just 2 features. So I'm going to replicate that. So new and part, and I hit OK. So you want to get quick at drawing these things. And it looks like we're going to be extruding, and with 2 features, because I already did this once, I already know I can do all of this pretty quickly. So we're just going to draw the rectangular shape, and then smart dimension it to the appropriate values that we're going to be. I'm in millimeters. Let's make sure my units are right as I start to type them in. The base is 60. So we got that, and now I'm going to use a center line to make my life easy. It's not quite the center, so I'm going to be click off the center somewhere. But I do want it horizontal. And now I'm going to smart dimension that one as well, because the center of that circle is 16 millimeters away from the bottom edge there. And then the line itself, the center of that circle, is 16 millimeters from this other edge. That's what it's trying to show me here. And then I'm going to draw the circle, which has a diameter of 12 millimeters. That looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So got all of those, so then I can exit that. Now it's going to extrude it, and I need to go up here, and that one goes to 28 millimeters. Check mark. So there we go, there's the bottom of the box. And now I want to do extrude boss base again, and I want it to come off the same plane. So I'm going to sketch on that same plane. So I want to sketch on this front plane as I sketched on it earlier. Now I just pretend like this isn't here, but I'm going to use all of the lines and everything as if it was flat. I'm actually drawing on that flat plane behind it is what I want to keep in mind, even though it feels like who knows where this line is going, but I know it's going on the plane. So when I'm actually picking this point here, it's actually picking the back corner of it is what I need to understand. And then this needs to come up this way, something like that. And we're just going to make a rough sketch because it doesn't matter. Here, here, and just careful not to make any unnecessary sketch relations. And this point to this point, 75. And then this one's 20. This one's 12. From here to here is 12. From there, which step is that? The second step to the bottom is 20. Make it look much better. Ah. From here to here is 12. And the last one. Oh, it looks good. All right, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That looks like all of them. And I'm fully defined, so that looks good to me. Check mark, exit sketch. Reverse direction. Sure. Oh no. Oh no, we messed up. We're going to go edit the sketch. I didn't close it, so I need one more line. I need to go from here to here. Even though you can't see it, check mark. And now exit sketch. And now that sketch 2, I want to boss extrude. Made one little mistake there. Why is it trying to do the whole thing again? Just that one. There we go. And now we want to do the 20. And check mark. So now it kind of looks like their picture. Yep. So that was it for this piece. Now we just need to assign the material, which it wants aluminum bronze. That's a copper alloy, if I remember. Materials, edit material. It's not under still. We want copper alloys. Alloy. Aluminum bronze. There it is. And then apply and close, and there it is. And now we can evaluate and look at the mass properties. And I got 537.19 grams, which is exactly what I got on the other one as well. So we can go back to the other version of this I made and evaluate it. And there's the 537.19 as well. So hopefully you guys get the same thing. If you get something different, please let me know on this part. I'm going to go ahead and save this one so that I have it. I've been having to put things here because I'm using up all my space making these videos. Can't remember what I called it. SolidWorks videos or something. There it is in CSW. This is I forget what exercise this was. Section A, prob 1. That's saved, so I'm going to close it. Hitting Control W on my keyboard. I already saved it once. I'm not going to save it twice. So here's the second one we're going to make, and I'm going to make a new part to make that one from scratch as well. Close that, new part. So this one, similarly to what we did on the other one, so this is tricky. Always make sure you check your units right away. So inches, I made that mistake. Decimal place is 4, so we really should try to figure out how to change that on here. Let's see, and then document properties, units. I don't remember exactly where it is. We might have to come back and play with this a little bit. Dimensions. I can't remember where we were able to define how many zeros. But we'll play with that in a minute. So we're going to make this part. And like we've done before, we want to kind of use symmetry to our advantage. So the way I did this one is a boss extrude front plane because it's my favorite. And so because this is the hard part right here, in my opinion, this front part of it, this is where I chose to start my drawing, is to make that the origin, is this center point right there, because this is the only one that's really complicated, is this side of it. So if you're looking at that center point is a circle. So that's where I'm going to start with. And it's actually, because I'm only going to draw half of this, I'm going to do an arc. So I'm going to start off by doing a center line. I'm going to want a center line going from somewhere over here to way over there somewhere. Some arbitrary length to start with. That gives me my rough sketch area here. And now I'm going to do a center point arc starting at this center point. And then I'm going to come this way. I'm going to click on this line to make sure I make that sketch relation, and then I'm just going to draw at some arbitrary length, but kind of that shape. And then if you look at it, let's dimension the circle first. So we hit Smart Dimension, and it's 0.4 inches. And I'm in inches already, so I could just do that. And now it is from the center point of the circle to this edge is 0.25. So Smart Dimension and go from my center point to this edge. Oh no, Smart Dimension. There we go. From this center point to this edge is 0.25, not millimeters, inches. You could type in IN as well, just to make sure it takes it. And then there's a line coming down, and then it goes to the center point again. So I draw this little line here, and then it comes over here to the center point. So I want to make a sketch relation with the center there. Then it comes down and touches here somewhere. I just don't want to make an unnecessary sketch relation. There we go. So I roughly drew those two lines, and now I'm going to Smart Dimension them. This one's already dimensioned because it's coincident with that line there, or not coincident, but related to the origin. But this one we can do. So we want to do half of that. So from the center point to there is going to be 0.25 inches. So that help me define that one. This one already turned black because it already understands where I want that in 3D space. And now the last one is from this line to this point, and that needs to be 0.4 inches. So I hit enter on there. What sketch relation is missing? I might have done something wrong. That should have went black. Let's make sure that this point to the center line. No, that wasn't it. What is it angry about? I'm not 100% sure. Oops. Out of the smart dimension, I'm going to click on this to see what sketch relations. That point is coincident. I'm going to turn back on my sketch relations so I can see what I'm doing. So I made all of those. I'm not sure why this didn't turn dark. All right, it looks like the reason why it's blue is because this point isn't really fixed in 3D space. See how I can move it? So I need it to understand that it needs to stay there. So what I'm going to do is just draw a center line coming up the origin here. And as soon as I draw that, that point is on the center line, so it understands that it's supposed to be even with the axis there. So now that's fully black. So now I want to draw another line, and it's going to touch this arc somewhere. It does this funny thing where the arc is moving around, but the idea is, see how that line is being stupid? But you want to just touch the arc again somewhere so that you can actually draw off of it. And then again, some arbitrary length. You just want to make sure you make a sketch relation that it's horizontal. And then I use my smart dimension tool to actually give that the 3.25 inch length that it's supposed to be. So that's, and then the thickness of it, I was already in smart dimension, goes from here. So you could either do it from there to the center line, or it'll automatically let you adjust it to do the whole length, which is the 0.4. So this includes the mirror. So just be careful and make sure you understand what's going on with your dimension there. You can see how mine actually goes beyond the center point here. So I know it's actually doing the whole diameter of it. So now I want to grab this point, make sure I'm not in smart dimension or anything, and extend it out for my whole sketch here. And now I just got to draw the other side of it, which this is the easier part in my opinion. So now I'm going to use my arc tool and use the 3-point arc. And I start one point on this line, the second point is on this line, then the third point, I just try to get that axis, that origin, to line up with that line a little bit, and I click there. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm actually going to make that sketch relation. So now I'm just in the sketch, not in any of the tools. While holding control on my keyboard, I click the center point of the arc, and I'm going to click this line. And it didn't work right, so I hit escape, and I'm going to try it again. So I click the center point of the arc and that line, both while holding control on my keyboard, and I want to make them coincident, so I hit check mark there. Then I'm going to smart dimension this, and it says it's 0.4 inches. According to the schematic, and it immediately turns black because that was all the information that it needed to be able to understand what that was. Now we're going to use this really cool tool, since this is a normal hexagon here in this picture, and that's what this button is. It's a hexagon tool, or a, I forget what they call it, I can't see it behind, polygon tool, because it actually can imitate any type of polygon, I guess is what they're all called, the particular type of shape. So it can have 5, 6, 7, 8, just depending on how many tips or corners you want it to have, sides or corners. So we actually do want the 6 because it's a hexagon, hex meaning 6, and so we could just do it right away. So the way you draw these is they always start at the center point, is what this picture is trying to show you, that little point. So I click the center point, and as I come over, it works just like the circle tool, except it's a hexagon instead. It's giving you the radius, so the full thing there is a 1/2 inch. So if you can click somewhere close to 0.25 inches, and then that's that. So I made a couple sketch relations. So I get out of all my tools, and now while holding control on my keyboard, I can select this top line, maybe. There we go. Hold control, select the top line, and then select this line. So I have those two lines selected, and I'm going to make sure those stay parallel, and then hit check mark. And now I'm going to smart dimension from this line to this line and make that 0.5 inches. And now, since I actually don't need anything on here on this side of it, I'm going to trim it away. I can't remember if this breaks my smart dimensioning, but I'm going to cut all this away because I'm going to use a mirror feature to get it. Yeah, see, I broke it. So what I actually had to do, I'm going to cut away this little line too, because it uses a circle to help me draw that, ideally. So it's all in a tool together. Smart dimension, again, I'm going to just do this one, which is the 0.25. And as soon as I click it, it turns everything black again. So there we go. That's all of that. So everything's black. That's the whole rough sketch of the picture. Whoops. Where's my normal 2 button? There it is. So now I should be able to exit. No, I'm sorry. I want to mirror entities. So now I'm going to select everything, and the only thing I want to unselect is my mirror bar, and then come to the mirror about, and now select that bar again. Oh, I lied. I actually want to come back up here and unselect this one as well. This axis I drew. There we go. Then hit check mark. So now I mirrored it, and when I hit exit sketch, it should extrude it. Oh, nope, I messed up. So now I have to click on my sketch and hit extrude boss base. And it needs to come out 0.3 inches. Oh, I forgot to trim a line. So go back into my sketch. Edit, trim entities. I forgot to cut away these lines. And then I mirrored it, so I have to cut them both now. If I would have cut that in the beginning, I wouldn't have had to trim both. And now exit sketch and extrude it. There we goes. So 0.3 inches. Well, at least you guys got to see me make some mistakes, and hopefully it helps you resolve the mistakes that you may or may not make. So then it's all in inches, and I just need to assign the material, which was a cast alloy steel. So under steel, cast alloy steel, hit apply and close, and now it's made out of steel. And I can evaluate and mass properties, and I can see it is 0.14 pounds, which is the same thing I got before. And I also got 0.55 cubic inches for the volume. So if you go back and look at my other part, which is the exact same thing, it's the exact same values. So hopefully you guys get the 0.14 pounds and 0.55 cubic inches as well on this part. So this was going to be the first video. Honestly, we probably should have done these parts last week and then did those last other 2 parts this week, because those seem significantly harder than these. I think there's still some valuable lessons to be learned in these. The copper piece, the first piece I did today, it said use global variables, but I don't really see why we had to use global variables in that one, since it's only asking us one question. Just keep in mind that if these questions ask you to create things with global variables in when we're actually taking the test, that it's probably in our better interest to try to use them the best that we can, assuming that it's going to make us change things and be able to answer additional questions on just a quick change of geometry. So I didn't use the global variables the way the document had said to, but I think that it wasn't really necessary, because if you read it, the values below for global variables, and then find. So there's nothing that says you can't create everything with global variables, and that way you could change everything. It's just up to you. It adds more steps, and I was trying to make these quickly. So besides these 2 parts, I think for this week, what else? I'm going to make one more video. I'm not going to add it to this one, so there will be a part 2. But I'm going to go into tutorials, and I'm actually going to walk through this one just a little bit to make sure there's some good steps in here that I think we missed, since our class starts off on Dr. Foley's class at 1503 UCCS Introduction to Engineering Design. Starts off with lesson 1, 2, and 3. It actually skips over these 2. So I was going to visit this one and see about making this part and making a video about it to make sure I capture the important steps, because it actually uses a couple features that I haven't made a video about yet. So I think it'll be worth it, and that's also what I plan on doing this week, is this one. So if you guys wanted to get a jump start before we meet on Tuesday, I am planning on making these 2 parts, which is super easy, but then I also want to see about going through this tutorial, and I think that would cover about our 2-hour window. So I hope to see you guys then, and catch the next video. This is part 1. Bye.